Stop scrolling if you're looking for the easiest, cutest 4th of July dessert that will actually get devoured first at the party. These red, white, and blue chocolate-covered pretzel rods are festive, foolproof, and dangerously snackable. You won't believe how simple they are to make, and yes, they look totally Pinterest-worthy. If you're new here, hi, I'm Arina. If you've ever had a sprinkle disaster or melted chocolate explosion, been there, you're in good company. I want to hear your kitchen stories. 2. Drop a comment below with your favorite party treat or how you decorate your pretzels. I love chatting with you, and your ideas help grow this sweet little community. Oh, and all the tools I'm using today, they're linked right down in the description. It makes shopping super easy and keeps your kitchen meltdown free. Okay, quick story before we dive into dipping. A few summers ago, I made a double batch of these pretzels for a July 4th picnic. I packed them up, all proud, and left them sitting prettily in my car while I ran back in for a blanket. 10 minutes, tops. Let's just say return to what can only be described as a sprinkle-speckled chocolate puddle. So yes, learned that the hard way. These pretzels do not enjoy heat. If you're taking them to a party, bring a cooler or store them somewhere cool. Your future self and your car will thank you. Let's get our setup ready. Line a baking sheet with parchment paper and grab those tall dipping containers. Trust me, they're way better than trying to dip into a cereal bowl. Now grab your pretzel rods. I'm using 1 bag of thick rods because they're sturdy and hold more chocolate without snapping. Now let's melt the base layer. Add 1 bag of white candy melts to your Wilton candy melting pot. These provide the smooth, sweet foundation of our coating. And yes, I'm using the Wilton pot today because it keeps everything at the perfect temperature without burning. If you don't have one, no worries. Please don't feel like you need to rush to Amazon and order it. Just head over to my blog post where I walk you through exactly how to melt chocolate without one. It's easier than you think. Add 2 teaspoons of coconut oil. This helps thin the candy melts for smoother dipping and a more even coating. Set the pot to high and stir with a heat-proof spatula every 30 seconds. I personally love using small silicone spatulas for this. They're flexible, easy to clean, and perfect for scraping every last bit of melted candy out of the pot. Seconds until fully melted and pourable. Transfer the melted candy to a tall dipping container. In this video, I'm using a disposable one, but these days I actually prefer silicone dipping containers. They're so much easier to clean, and the set I use comes with 3 different sizes, which I find super handy for recipes like this. That said, if you're only planning to make this once, don't overthink it. Just use a tall glass or even a disposable paper dipping container. Chocolate-dipped pretzels are one of my favorite recipes to whip up when I'm in a time crunch, so whatever makes it easier for you, go for it. One important tip here: make sure your chocolate isn't too hot when you start dipping. If it's overheated, it'll slide right off the pretzels instead of coating them beautifully. I like to use a candy thermometer or, more recently, a digital heat gun to check the temperature. That's become my go-to tool lately because it's quick and contact-free. Ideally, you want the candy males to be warm and fluid, but not scorching. Around 88 to 90 degrees Fahrenheit, 31 to 32 degrees Celsius is perfect for white chocolate. If you're unsure, cooler is better than too hot. Dip each pretzel rod about 2/3 of the way into the white coating. Let the excess drip off and lay each one on the parchment-lined baking sheet. They should look like edible sparklers already. Pop the tray in the fridge for 10 minutes to set, or leave it on the counter if you prefer. Just keep in mind it'll take a bit longer for the chocolate to fully firm up. Wash your insert, and we'll start with the blue chocolate chips. Now, on to the blue tips. I hope you won't judge me, but I actually own 4 candy melting pots. Yep, 4. And honestly, I use them all the time for different baking projects. It's one of those tools I never expected to love as much as I do. So, I'm just grabbing my next clean melting pot here. This setup really comes in handy when you're working with multiple colors, like we are today. Add 1 cup of royal blue candy, melts to the clean candy pot. This is our bold, festive color pop. Add 1/2 teaspoon of coconut oil to thin it slightly and make dipping easier. Stir until melted and smooth, then transfer to a clean dipping container. Pause here for a second and give your melted chocolate a little temp check. You're aiming for around 88 to 90 degrees Fahrenheit, 31 to 32 degrees Celsius. If it's too hot, it'll melt the white chocolate base right off the pretzels. And suddenly, your patriotic masterpiece becomes a sticky slip and slide. I get it, the urge to rush is real, but chocolate has trust issues. It needs time. Give it a moment to chill, literally, if it's too warm. I use my trusty digital heat gun for this step, and every time I do, I feel like I'm starring in some gourmet science experiment. If the temperature is just right, you're good to go. If not, take a deep breath, grab a sip of something cold, and let that chocolate mellow out before dipping. Take the chilled white-coated pretzels and dip just the tips into the blue candy. Immediately sprinkle with red, white, and blue star sprinkles. Don't wait. This part's a race against cooling chocolate. The coating sets up fast, and if you hesitate, the sprinkles won't stick. Think of it like catching a train. Either you're on it or you're waving goodbye. These sprinkles bring the fireworks to your pretzels, literally. They add crunch, color, and that unmistakable patriotic charm. Work in small batches so the coating doesn't set before you add sprinkles. By now, you're probably a certified pretzel dipping pro. Just saying, all that practice is paying off. Go ahead and pop the tray back into the fridge for another 10 minutes to let that blue coating set. Or hey, if fridge space is tight, you can leave them on the counter. Just know it'll take a little longer, and your self-control might be tested while you wait. Did you know that chocolate-covered pretzels might have started in Germany? Pretzels have always been a beloved snack there, and combining their salty crunch with sweet, melty chocolate seems like one of those genius moments in snack history, maybe even by accident. Over time, bakers and confectioners in Europe added their own creative twists, and this simple treat quickly became irresistible. When chocolate-covered pretzels made their way to the US, they became a favorite for holidays and special occasions. I mean, what's not to love? They're so easy to dress up. For Valentine's Day, all you need are some red, white, and pink decorations to take them to the next level. That balance of salty and sweet is what makes them such a universal hit. Kids and adults can't get enough. These days, chocolate-covered pretzels are a DIY superstar, and it's easy to see why. You can customize them with different chocolates, toppings, and colors to match any theme or celebration. Whether it's for Valentine's Day or just because you're craving a sweet and salty treat, these are guaranteed to be a crowd pleaser. Seriously, how can anyone say no to a crunchy, sweet, and salty bite of perfection? It's the snack trifecta. Time for the final flourish, our red candy drizzle. No, we're not dipping the pretzels in this one. We're going full abstract artist mode now. This is your moment to channel your inner dessert Picasso with some bold red zigzags. Add 1/2 cup of red candy, melts to your clean candy pot. This adds the final layer of color contrast and sweetness. Add 1/4 teaspoon of coconut oil to make the mixture thin enough to drizzle smoothly. Once the chocolate is fully melted and smooth, it's time to set up our piping bag, but let's do it without the mess. I place the piping bag inside a tall glass and fold the edges of the bag over the rim. This little trick acts like a second pair of hands, holding the bag open and steady while I pour. Then I carefully pour the warm red chocolate into the bag. Pouring slowly helps avoid air bubbles and keeps the outside of the bag clean. A gentle shake helps the chocolate settle down toward the tip. Once it's filled, I twist the top and tie it off with a bag tie to keep everything neat and ready to go. It might seem like a small step, but it makes the drizzling process way smoother and cleaner. And let's be real, when things are melting and you're mid-decorating, fewer sticky hands is always a win. Cut a tiny 1/8 inch tip from the piping bag. Now drizzle over the white section of each pretzel in a back and forth motion. Now's not the time to wander off and make a coffee. Sorry. Once the chocolate is in the piping bag, the clock is ticking. If it sits too long on the counter, it'll start to harden and clog the tip. And trust me, mid-drizzle clogs are not fun. So stay focused and work quickly. You've got about 5 to 10 minutes of perfect drizzling time before things start to thicken. But hey, if your chocolate does harden in the bag, don't panic. Just pop the whole piping bag into a mug or a bowl of warm water for a minute or two. That usually softens it up enough to get you drizzling again. Just make sure no water gets into the chocolate itself. Water and chocolate are not friends. All right, grab that piping bag and channel your inner artist. Let's add that final festive flair. Let everything set again for 10 minutes in the fridge. Now, it's time to show them off. For parties, lay the pretzels out on a tray and watch them disappear. For gifting, slip each into a clear cellophane bag and tie with a festive ribbon, or stand them upright in jars for a centerpiece that doubles as dessert. They really are the cutest little candy ones. extra tips and notes from a kitchen to yours. Don't have piping bags? Try choco drizzlers. They're super convenient but run out fast. You can sub the coconut oil with shortening if you like. Coconut oil adds a subtle flavor and smooth finish. No candy pot? Microwave your melts in 15-second bursts and stir frequently. But don't walk away. Chocolate burns fast. Want a little crunch? Add crushed peanuts, sprinkles, or mini M and miss warning. Kids love helping with this. Also warning, expect lots of nibbling and colorful fingers. And there you go, chocolate-covered pretzel rods that scream 4th of July in the most delicious way possible. If you give these a try, drop a comment and tell me your twist. Did you add different sprinkles? Use dark chocolate? Let your kids drizzle everything but the pretzels? I want to hear it. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more fun kitchen adventures, and hit that bell so you never miss a treat. And hey, if you want to grab the exact tools I used in this video, everything's linked in the description below. Makes shopping easy and stress-free. Also, if you want to learn how to individually package chocolate-covered pretzel rods for gifting or party favors, make sure to watch my next video, how to individually package chocolate-covered pretzel rods. Have a safe, sweet, and sparkly 4th of July. See you in the next video.